Hey everybody, Rich here, South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. Today's the day. Could just call it moving day, but it's a bit more than that. Today is the day we take a swarm from this bucket and we put it into these Poppleton frames. I'm going to tag them. I think they're actually called American frames, but we're going to begin our great experiment and see how Mr. Poppleton's hives work in South Florida today. So as you can see, we have asymmetrical hives or asymmetrical frames here. We've attached hooks to them. We can put a link in the video to how I make these hooks and attach them to frames. They're useful for cutouts, particularly in this situation where I want the whole comb in there. I don't want to go chopping things up more than I have to. And we're going to see what we see. Now, you saw a video recently of us taking a swarm out of a bucket that had been in the bucket for 4 weeks. So this swarm moved in the same time, so it's been in the bucket 5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're just going to have to see. The other one only had a few attachment points that came out quite well. There may be a disaster the moment we open this. If there is, well, that's it. Otherwise, we learned a few things. The combs are so heavy they tip over, so I made a little stand here to help brace them up. We'll just have to see how it goes from here, because once we start, we can't stop until we do something. Anyway, here we go. Oh, I'll point out one more thing. This hive was bearding all up through here, all across the flat on the top of the tool shed roof, and all up the sidewall. There's a whole lot more bees than this bucket can hold, which is why this had to get done really quick. Here we go.
But the holdup was actually you making the hive and making the frames, right?
The holdup for the last few days has been life, unfortunately. Too many appointments. I've already popped the lid all the way around, so I'm hopeful that will be okay. Okay, we got attachment to the attachments are broken.
Ah.
Hello, ladies.
Well, one good thing about those frames is they're a lot longer than the Langstreth frames.
That's one of the reasons I left these combs so long, was I knew I was making those longer frames.
Yeah, they might fit better, but getting that to flip over without breaking any comb is going to be quite tricky.
It's just what we have to do.
Oh, nicely done.
And of course, the combs are leaning the other direction this time around. Okay. All right, I see nothing that resembles a queen in there. Not that it's the easiest thing to look at.
Offhand, I don't see anything obvious.
Nope, no clustering or anything. We'll just leave these ladies where they are for the moment. Yeah, they're starting to go into the bucket that I put up there for the returning foragers, so I don't think we need to worry about this at the moment.
The bucket he's talking about is up here on top of the tool shed, which is where that one was up until he moved it.
Well, this was the hard part. We won't be needing this knife. This will be probably the fastest cutout you ever seen us do on a bucket.
Well, I hope so, because these bees are already a little feisty.
Yeah, they're a little testy. Better safe than sorry.
He's going to carefully cut this comb and put it on the wire spikes that he's already put into the frame. It'll hold the comb there, probably better than elastics do, but we have elastics as well, so we can stabilize it. and he has to look for the queen at the same time.
How about that? Going to
So
be
the purpose of the bucket is that we're going to transport these frames over to where the big hive box is, because once we get a colony in that big hive box, it's probably going to be too heavy for the two of us to lift it. It's going to be more weight than we want to handle. So the bucket is the temporary transport.
yeah. I'm glad these girls read the manual that I provided them. They actually made their comb perfectly on the sticks, at least as
Nice
far
and
as I can see
straight,
so
which,
far.
you don't always get. Sometimes they go a little wonky, but this comb is nice and straight.
Yeah. Now these frames and these hives at the turn of the last century were uh, mostly populated by swarms, maybe by packages. I really haven't seen much reference to that.
So is there a reason for the elastic on the bottom as well?
No, dear.
No.
Just, well,
Okay.
I mean, if I needed to, I wanted two on there, but it
That's what I thought.
doesn't look like I need to. So,
Is that a small hive beetle?
yep.
Mm.
Kill the beetle, kill the beetle, kill the beetle. This is doing what I expected to. Make mistakes, but learn from them.
Are you talking about your little prop there to hold up the comb so it doesn't fall over?
Yep.
It seems to be working.
Yep.
I'm going to guess that the queen is on not this one and the next one, but the one in the middle. Yeah, that's where they seem to have the most activity going on.
This hive. Don't you love it when a plan comes together?
I wouldn't speak too soon. We've been down that road.
I guess we have.
So I see you've put a wooden brace on the inside of this bucket to
Mm-hmm.
hold the frames.
Yep. I guess I could have just dropped them to the bottom of the bucket.
Oh no, I think
But
this is a much better system
this is
because it's going to
just
hold
my
the
way of
frames rather
organizing
than having them free fall. Well, as testy as you said they were, they don't seem to be right now.
Um, like I said, at first when I was out here moving around, they were fine, and I didn't think I would need a jacket. And then a few of them started getting very territorial on me, popped me in the leg as I'm just walking along. So better safe than sorry. But yeah, at the moment they seem to be holding on.
Now, was there brood on those paddles? I wasn't
Oh
really
yes,
looking.
oh
Okay.
yes. There is brood everywhere, but they've just had two massive orientation flights, so they've been hatching out for some time.
Aha.
I'm just mostly looking for queen cells. Hopefully, and secondarily, I'm looking for uh, drone cells. So far, I haven't seen any drone cells.
No drone cells and no queen cells yet, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Yet being the operative word.
Since you're going to pick it up that way, why don't I flip this around?
Thank you, dear.
I think that will help.
You were fine where you were, like
Oh,
this.
sorry. Well, you know, it's hard to see through the camera and through my own eyes at the same time. Nice to see a little band of honey on the top,
Yeah.
especially since there's not a whole lot blooming.
Oh, there are some there are some trees that are coming into bloom, and the moringa is coming back into bloom. But uh, before we tuck them away for the night, there will be uh, a feeder full of sugar water in there in their hive. I'll show you how I'm going to do that when the time comes. Only problem is our high temperatures today are in the 90s, and so this comb is really rather soft.
Soft, yes. Be careful because I thought that might be the paddle the queen was on or the one next to it. And I did see behavior that looked like they might be clustering around her.
Well, definitely not on that side. Want to get a shot here that you can study later on? Go right ahead.
Hmm. Down in that area there, maybe.
Well, it's opposite me, so if you want to tickle them with your finger and
Yeah,
see what you can
I'm
see.
looking. I'm just looking. Nope,
Okay.
don't see her.
If you want to see what the backside of this looks like with the hooks.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right.
Yep.
I mean, I know you know, but
Yep.
our readers don't. Readers?
We don't have readers, honey. We have viewers. You gotta come into the next century with us, okay?
Kicking and screaming, dear.
I know.
I'm working hard here to get into the last century.
Yeah, because you're making a hive from 1910.
I'm actually making a hive from 1880 that was still in use in 1910.
I see. Well, if it makes you feel better, I think you would have fit in very well with the Victorians.
Are you
I don't think your
calling me
smoke's.
are you calling me a racist colonial?
Yeah, your smoke's not getting to the bees, babe. The
Well,
wind's blowing the
I
wrong
barely
way.
want it to get to the bees.
There you go.
I could never have stood to wear all that wool. Vinegar or no vinegar. That bee was checking me out right where the other bee stung my leg.
I see. Huh. There might be use for a bee spatula in your future.
No, that would crush too many bees.
Yeah, you're probably right.
This is fine. I know. I'll just slide it under the rubber band.
That's ingenious. Let's check out this frame.
Yeah, they're kind of clustering up there a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I've been watching. You think she's under there?
Oh, I don't know. I just have to get this thing up before we crush bees on the backside.
Now you'll notice that he's putting all the frames going in the same way, which basically you have
No
to.
option in the matter.
Yeah, because the sidebars are not centered. They're all on one side.
It's called asymmetrical, dear. It is the King/American frame. 19. The last iteration of it was 1907, I believe.
Just helping them into the bucket, huh?
No, I don't want to. They've already had their chance of getting smushed. I don't want them to get a second chance of getting smushed.
Yeah.
Just look how beautifully they laid it out according to my sticks.
Yes.
The last one did them like this.
That's why you always want to clean the bucket up after each swarm,
Oh, I do.
especially if they go wonky with the comb. You certainly don't want the next one to follow suit.
Nope. I melt that off real good when they do that. Come on. I don't want to beat anybody up with a vacuum. Come on. The sticks on the ends are much shorter. They just kept building straight, but caused me trouble. I don't get rid of that. Could I have my knife back, please? Thank you. You need smoke, dear?
It's possible.
You are standing awfully close to a bucket
Yeah.
of bees.
Yeah, thank you. One or two of them decided they wanted to check me out. Whoa, wait a minute.
There she is.
Yep, that's what I
Okay,
saw.
we have the queen.
Yep, I thought she was on that frame.
I haven't used the catcher that I can see.
I know. I don't know if the camera caught her. She's running.
Yes, of course. Queens do. Run away,
Yep,
run away.
Oh, I see her though. I think that's her. Is that her right there?
That's her right there.
Yep.
She's a solid girl.
Yep, there she is.
Not a terribly big.
Yay! We found a queen. Well, we've always found a queen, but you know, this time we got her on camera. Most of our queens on our swarms apparently are camera shy. So be super careful, honey.
Oh, I am. She's right there.
Yep. Let's get her in. She's heading for the back, so.
Okay. All right. Come on.
I'll keep an eye on her.
I had.
Did one get up in your veil?
Yeah, I had one in my ear.
Oh.
Whispering sweet nothings, like I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, she was on the frame when you put it in the bin. Now we just got to make sure she's on the frame when you take her out of the bin.
But at least it makes this last frame less stressful.
This is true.
Because otherwise we just have to assume that she's on the last frame.
Yes. Which, to be honest, a lot of times that is the case because as you're taking the comb away, the queen tends to run to the back.
Yep. No, the queen is not here. She's over there. These bees are trying to tell me the queen's over here. Don't be ridiculous. Come on.
You actually had one more than you needed.
Yep.
Which is always good.
Well, I'm always going to assume that there's 8 frames of comb because 8 seems to be the magic number for bees. I always like to make their basic. Really?
She was heading for the boys.
She was heading for the boys.
That's the chance you take when you keep bees in shorts.
Yeah.
And sandals. I can't really talk. I'm sitting here in shorts and sandals myself.
You see how soft this is? Well, not going to be a lot of grab if I put it in the middle. It's going to have to go to one side.
Yeah, the side looks good. Congratulations on the comb staying upright. That little brace kind of worked pretty well.
In between. I'll say this for this comb design, that with this thin bar, rubber bands are going to do their job very well.
They do or do not?
Do.
They do. Okay.
But this is a top bar hive, so ladies, we have to get you together. I mean, it's not just important right this second.
No.
Okay, next thing I need to do is step past.
You still have a lot on the table.
Yes, dear, but I got to get to that bucket.
Ah. Oh, why don't you wait and dump that bucket in the main hive? Otherwise, you're gonna have to do that twice.
Yeah, maybe I will. But you know, the first thing I got to do with this bucket is get all these girls into it.
Yeah, we didn't end up using the queen cage, but it's always a good idea to have one handy just in case.
Oh yeah.
If she had started to flee, we'd have ended up having to try and use it.
I'd rather she just go quietly. Okay.
And now he's carrying a temporary holder of the frames
You'll probably want to go around
into the main bee
that
yard.
direction.
You want me around the other side? Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. Here, I brought the smoker just in case you needed it.
Oh, thank you.
And the entrance to this one is over here on the front.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The entrance.
There it is.
Too much wind.
That's the follower board. And this is this colony's new home.
Yep.
You can see the inside has a little bit of hardware cloth, and that's going to be their entrance. So he's going to put the brood in the middle near the entrance.
Yep. That's the way this hive is designed to be managed. From the middle. Okay. Well, the queen was on here, and from the cluster was on one side. I assume she's either now in the.
You want me to
down
see
there.
if she's still on there?
I suspect that she's over here
in the bottom. Yeah. I was gonna say I saw the bees that were remaining on that comb, and it didn't look like there were enough for the queen to actually be there.
Now she might have moved on to this one. Over here on this edge. We'll just have to see. Or she might be on here. She could be anywhere.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Are the sides of those frames touching the side of the box
No.
or not? But there's
No.
not actually B space between the side of the frame and the side of the box, is there? Is there B space underneath?
Just barely, but you have to remember when they build these combs out, they're going to stop them short of the edges of the frame.
So they'll either leave
They'll
a
make their
hole
own
in the
B space.
they'll either leave a hole in the comb or they'll make their own B space at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did you want the smoker, honey?
No, not yet. I'll put the rest of them in there and then I'll smoke them all at this one time.
Okay. Yeah, she's still in that box because they're all flying around in the air now. And
Could be. Not on the bottom. Get this out of here for now. One thing at a time. Here, I'm going to get these buttoned up a little better. Okay. I'm going to go get the queen clip and then start looking for her.
okay.
You're wondering why I'm doing this, it's because they're bearding underneath the runner here.
Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure that's where she is.
There she is.
Uh-huh. Did you get her in the clip, dear?
I did. I just had to be kind of on the edge of the clip so it wouldn't close right. Yeah, she's in the clip.
Let's take a look.
I don't know if you can see her or not. She's right there.
I want the camera to focus.
Tell me if I need to change angles.
I think I see her. I mean, I can see her. I'm hoping that you can see her in the camera. But yes, I can see her.
Okay.
Just going to leave her there for the moment.
For a moment. For a moment.
Now he's going to see if he can coax the bees back down into the box.
They'll come to the queen regardless. just going to set this here for the moment while I go get the bucket. It's not even necessary that I drop those bees. I can go ahead and put them up top. I just want to put the bucket they've been in up top so that at nightfall, when they've all crawled inside, we'll come back and do this.
Maybe we can see under the bucket.
How we doing there, girls? Well, since we know the queen's not in there, I'll just and there's 90% of them.
Yeah.
Better than 90% of them. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what?
I just accidentally knocked the queen cage into the
Inside?
hive. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have fun. Maybe you should release her onto a comb.
I should.
Maybe we can watch. Did she come out?
I don't know yet. Okay, I don't see a queen inside now, so she came out.
Do we see her?
Nope. I think she immediately ran around the other side.
Yeah.
The ones in the bucket, there weren't that many in there, and I put the bucket up top.
Oh, okay.
So that they could just be joined by all their friends, sisters, and I put the bucket that they were in the position where the bucket they were in was, and I put the other bucket behind them, and presumably all those bees are going to walk back around the front and into it, but it's a couple of hours yet till dark. I just wasn't going to wait to the last minute to try to do this, because doing it this way, I didn't have to deal with all the foragers that were out there. But yeah, we'll be back to take care of that. I mean, we won't be back on camera.
But that's something we'll do closer to the end of the day.
We'll do after the end of the day. We'll do it as it gets to be full dark. I'll come back out here and put in the follower board and the last frame. And hopefully with all this extra space they now have, there was no drone cells in there yet. And so obviously if there's no drone cells, there's not going to be any queen cups. So it's good. We now know we can actually leave them in a bucket for 5 weeks if we absolutely have to.
Well, some of them.
Not that I ever actually want to do that.
Smaller swarms, probably.
Yeah. This was a good size swarm, but it was a good size swarm for a bucket. It wasn't a good size swarm for the 10 frame that I put up there.
Well, this swarm made a good choice.
Yeah.
And now they'll have the space to expand, and you'll have some information as you progress working with this hive. So are we going to call it the Poppleton hive, the New Idea hive?
Well, I'm going to call it the Poppleton hive.
Okay.
And we're going to refer to it as the Poppleton hive in all the videos. In fact, we might want to call it the Poppleton New Idea hive, because that was the way it was referred to in a lot of the old books. And in case anybody's doing a search for that, we might want to be able to lead them to the fact that, yeah, you're not alone. There are other people curious about those old hives too.
Cool. It does look hurricane proof.
Poppleton insisted that no wind could blow his hives over.
Well, I can't even lift the thing, so I believe that.
Yeah, yeah, that was one of the reasons he liked them for South Florida, was that they were low to the ground, wide and solid, and 12 by 12. Obviously, they're stable,
Yes.
and then as long as you want them. So,
I have
yeah.
one more question for you,
Uh-huh.
at the risk of being a pest. You mentioned earlier that you were going to put sugar water on them,
Thank you, dear.
and you were going to show us how you were going to do that with this hive configuration.
Sure. I got the sugar water ready. I've got the equipment ready. I just have to put it all together.
And in case you're wondering about the placement of the hive in the apiary, the frames are running exactly north-south because our yard is not directly aligned with the north-south axis. North is kind of in the corner. I moved around to this side because I was getting a little bit of unwanted attention on the other side.
All right.
And what are these tabs for?
Those tabs are for spacers because it's easier to fill them out that
Oh,
way.
okay.
But I cannot actually show you because how I'm going to do the feeding. I'll demonstrate it, but I can't really do it right this moment because uh, what I have to do is cut a couple of planks to this length so that we don't have frames attached to them. I'm going to go ahead and put it down in there, and after we finish the video, I'll go make the cuts and I'll bring it back. But this is really, if you'll notice, there is that piece of screen in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I just put the follower board on this side of the hive, they can still stroll through the screen on the bottom to get wherever they want to go. And all this is one-to-one sugar water with some Honeybee Healthy and a little bit of lemon juice in it. A Boardman feeder. Well, let me just start like this. There we go. Boardman feeder. I'm just going to put it down in there. And as they explore the hive, they will quickly find it. As you can see. So all I have to do is back here where the frames aren't going to be in use anytime in the next couple of months, I'm just going to take a few more pieces of wood, whiter wood, and set them over this area. All right, I can use a couple
So that they don't end up building comb to the roof.
Right. Well, so that they could always make comb to the roof, but they're not going to. The comb building's going on over here. And there'll be an empty frame on this side of the hive. In fact, we'll just, since we have that one with the hooks on it, we'll just end. There we go. So that's our frame for extra space to expand on that side. And you can see,
and they can still get into the feeder.
Yeah, so all I have to do is make a board, and the board doesn't have to be that exact because one thing I learned in my years of top bar beekeeping is always to make my top bar hives like this, so that there was an overlap on the ends too, that didn't just come flush, so that, if to make everything tight, if I have to pull this board to here, it's still tight.
I see.
You see.
Gives you a little bit of leeway.
Gives you some wiggle room.
Awesome.
So I'm going to go make a couple of boards to fit into this space. There's their feeder.
And the ones that are sitting up here can still get in because there's just enough bee space for them to crawl down through there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to throw the...
you have a cover for this, right?
I'm going to throw the inner cover on.
Do you want to smoke them down a little bit first?
When I lay this on there, it'll just pressure them down a little bit too, but This isn't like a Langstroth hive where they've got bolt holes everywhere. I'm not going to put that on just yet. I'm just going to do this. Not that that would hurt, because if you'll notice, there is almost a full bee space width between these top bars and that,
So then no bees get crushed.
so that we don't crush any bees. There's enough breeze that would probably blow this off. So let's just set those there.
But those are just temporary, right?
Yes, dear, that massive heavy lid goes on.
Right, but you're probably going to end the video before you put the lid on. So I'm just letting that people know that.
Yeah, yeah. This is it for the moment. I'm going to go cut a couple of boards so we can put them here, and then I'm going to straighten up. And come nightfall, I'm going to take all the bees in the bucket, take these boards here that I'll put in here in the meantime, take them off, pump that bucket, dump those bees in, and the install is complete. We'll put the main lid back on. The install will be complete. We'll leave them alone for a week, and I'll come back and do a quick check on them in a week and see how they're adapting to their new home.
And if people want to learn more about this hive, how you built it, how you built the frames, those links will be in the description below.
They will indeed. And there'll be more videos to come on the Poppleton Hive from time to time. So this has been Rich. This is South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. We're going to make Poppleton's casket, the bee king, I'm sorry to say, the honey king of Florida, the man who shipped 15 tons of honey to New York a year. So like and subscribe.